When I moved from Montana to Halifax, I traveled light or heavy, depending on how you view it. I came with a half dozen partly written manuscripts, a few dozen history and science books, and a lot of ideas. It's a wonder the car tires weren't flat. This is not one of those manuscripts. This came into being as I became acquainted with my new home. Jamie has a habit of stalking me, so it came as no surprise when she asked that I write a book about Halifax. We'll get back to the partly written manuscripts, she bargained. Write this first. So I did. My characters are allowed liberal decision-making as they often have better ideas than I. So does my editor, the cat, any of them, as I've had a few feline editors. If you have a cat, you understand. Most authors have cats. There's something about the combination of writing and having cats. Maybe it's their continual observation or their helpfulness in correcting or adding to text. They can be very hands-on. As I learned my way around Halifax, it was amazing to realize how close history superimposed itself over everyday life. From where I sit during my day job, I overlook where they kept World War I German prisoners, and I can see where naval activity unfolded both on land and in the Bedford Basin, which is part of the Halifax Harbor, during World Wars I and II. Not far away is the epicenter of the massive 1917 Halifax explosion. Unfamiliar with that? Don't worry, I have you covered. Again from my desk, I watched archaeologists unearth a guardhouse in the 1700s, shortly after the city was founded. It helps that I sit in a tall building. The point is, history is right here. I am surrounded by buildings that are a few centuries old, perfectly preserved. Perhaps, if my employer read this, they'd wonder if I did anything more than document my surroundings. From where I sit, a book begs to be written with all the history, haunting the ground like so many ghosts. And that's a real possibility if the legends are correct. Most of the buildings have at least one ghost story attached to it. While this story is fictional, many details are not. Halifax was home to German spies during World War II. Remains of submarine nets are readily found on a casual walk if you know where to look. Don't have to look hard. Forts, some erected in the 1700s, continue to be updated and used until World War II. Hundreds of Haligonians pass this every day. Cannons, cannonballs, ship anchors, and such have integrated with the city's infrastructure. From the Citadel, a cannon is fired ceremonially every day at noon, except on Christmas. Some take history for granted. Who shouldn't? Halifax is not unique in its history, and yet it is. So much, so close at hand. It has evolved into a modern city, but hiding closely under the veil of a modern facade is a history that cannot be erased. Jamie asked that it not be erased, but rather amplified, and in it she asked that I tell a story. This is that story.